The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party, featuring weekly discussions on political news and current affairs. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party.
Music starts, get it cracking, like it. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on your July 4th weekend. I hope you guys are going to be safe and sound this weekend. But before you get cracking, you're here joining us at Black Tea Party. I'm your host, Stacey Ike. You can tweet me during the show at @OneTakeStace Live. I'll have my phone, my computer, it all ready. And I'm joined by my two boys today. What's up?
Hey guys, at Michael Timon, as you see spelled on the screen. Good luck. You can tweet me the stats I get wrong because I'm not getting internet, so I'm probably gonna screw. You guys will find out how stupid I am today.
Oh my gosh, go ahead.
What's up? It's your man Anthony Martin. You can follow me on Instagram, Black Fist Activist, Facebook Anthony Martin.
Nice. Okay, so now that we've got all that out the way, so this week wasn't as crazy as the last time we all got together.
Nobody died, I guess.
Yes, okay.
And that's probably always a plus.
That is a sad statement. I do not like that, but I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by less crazy. So yes, no one that we know in a large scale, but some things did happen. I'm having a big issue with South Carolina right now.
Why is that?
Like, what's
I'm
going
having
on?
an issue with the United States.
Sure. Yeah, July 4th, I'm not sure. I feel like I'm going to wear all black.
I got my America shirt misspelled as we are lower in education as most countries, so this is my way. It's hard to celebrate. If you're ignorant and you think we're number one, it's easy to celebrate America. But when you know what's going on,
I just think when we're talking about independence and 4th of July, like there's so many people that don't have their freedom still in this country. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sounds silly to celebrate something like that right about now. It's crazy.
Wouldn't it be interesting to see like how the world reacts to this weekend, or to like, is everyone having the regular barbecue?
They're gonna act the same.
They're gonna get drunk.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same. The problem is you don't have enough intellectual people to think about the real issues that are going on and to actually make a stance during these big holidays and doing things. There's gonna be no protest for real.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on.
how are you supposed to?
So we couldn't do it?
Well, the internet can. But the internet is so clouded. It's hard to. CNN just announced that they're gonna have branded products on their show. So even what's considered, that means they're gonna actually pimp products during news. News.
It's gotten to that point.
It's a joke. Like, our media is a joke. So even I know people who watch the media, and they're not stupid people.
Right.
Like, I think that's the default, and I do that a lot. I'm like, they're ignorant. They're ignorant because they're trying to find the news, and they're stuck on CNN, and CNN is just as bad as Fox. Let's all admit that right now.
Oh, wow. You want to admit that?
Just on the different
I think
side.
all mainstream media is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think
they know what to focus on and how they what they talk about is all based off of bigger issues, and they're never talking about the real issues. I think one point is about the whole churches burning in the South. I mean, one of the things that bothered me the most about that whole issue and reading about these churches is that they talk more about this church that was hit by lightning rather than what the 2 or 3 they're actually already categorized as an arson.
But the thing,
and they're not talking about that.
Right. But they don't even know if it was hit by lightning. That was something that the governor said that was out of context. And the FBI agent said, I don't know where she got that information.
But even
they haven't declared that yet.
Even in that point, the fact that that's what the highlight is, they're talking about the lightning strike. That's a potential reason for that church burning down. When there were 2 or 3, the FBI and ATF already said
there's 7
that they were arson.
Right.
Something happened. Let's talk about those. Let's see what's going on with those churches and who is behind this arson. I mean, it's ridiculous.
When you saw the first one covered, kind of, not even barely, it was a footnote like, hey, another church was burning.
Right.
And then you didn't hear
what?
anything till the seventh one.
But you know
that's what pissed me off.
It's more of the way it's talked about. Just in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, we're referring to Mount Zion African Methodist Episcopal Church in Greeleyville, South Carolina, and a situation that happened on Wednesday morning or Tuesday, but we've been hearing about it since Wednesday morning, blah, blah, blah. And so I think the way it was described, I watched it on several different news outlets, and they would say, like, I remember one news outlet, and I don't want to say CNN, but maybe. It was like a church was, how do they say, arson may or may not have happened at another black church. Or it might have been, like, just the way I'm not going to say I don't like when you say black or something, but it's just like the way it's presented. Somebody else will say African American, somebody will say historical, somebody will say this. I mean.
Well, people get mad when they don't, the guy who shot, and I'm trying not to use his name, the guy who shot up that church in South Carolina, they still say alleged and people get mad. It's like, well, that's how news works.
Right.
Until there's an
I'm not
actual
mad at
guilty.
that.
I know,
I'm
but
okay
like,
with that.
one of the things that people are kind of mad at that I get upset at how little it's being covered. I don't mind if you say alleged, but they are being investigated for arson. Why aren't you starting with that?
Following with
you don't have to say it was arson. You can say alleged. It's being investigated as arson. And that's not until like most of the time, like what the last two paragraphs they'll mention that this might be an arson. In fact, there's more excuses made.
Exactly.
But before they say, before they go, oh, by the way, it's being investigated for arson.
But I don't understand, why are they making excuses? You weren't there. We're not talking about you. You're just media giving information. And it's not just media. It's everybody that is, everybody we're learning this information from. It's like there's a defense. Why are you defending this? Does that make sense?
Because we have shitty journalists.
I mean, I guess
everywhere?
that too. I think it's more of a bigger issue. Nobody wants to talk about what's really going on in this nation because it can cause an uproar. It can cause more of a problem for the society as a whole. And what they're doing is basically trying to downplay it so nobody's getting upset about these arsons that are happening to black churches because of the Charleston shooting. Like, these things are going on, but they don't want to make it that big.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can't see all that. They're historic black churches. It's not like they're just, okay, you might be able to say an electrical problem if it's a new church or something like that. These are historically black churches that are being
pointed,
targeted.
Yeah, targeted, exactly.
I mean, also, I think one of the bigger issues that we're not looking at is that the mainstream media and I think the government are trying to play them as individual issues. And that works in their favor because they can talk about an issue and then let it go under the rug and, wait till the next one and then they'll handle that one as such. We as people kind of need to look at it. These are compound issues. These are all racial problems that are happening, and we need to look at them as a whole, because if we don't, we're going to do the same thing we've been doing for all the police shootings that killed unarmed black men, all the shooting, the shooting in churches, the burnings. We're going to look at them individually, and then 2 weeks later, we're going to forget about them and wait for the next thing.
We've talked about that. We talked about that last week. You were saying, we go through, and you say the same thing too, we go through this huge hoopla and then we just fall back down. But I don't think on the year I've been on the show, we still haven't figured out what are the solutions.
So I have a kind of solution.
You have an idea.
It's a
Let's
little
hear
bit
it.
more militant aspect of it, but I really think that we need to stop letting our judicial and legislative branches handle our issues the way they're handling them, because they're not doing anything. We need to start holding a military presence of our own in our communities and do kind of like a neighborhood watch, in a sense, kind of not necessarily Black Panthers, but Black Panthers. In that instance, we need to have people out there that are like, look, you want to burn down a church, we're going to be right here and we're going to handle it. We're not going to let the police come get you. We're going to do this ourselves, because for too long, the police officers who seem to be against us, I'm just saying, and the legislative branches that aren't convicting these obvious criminals are letting this go. We need to take it into our own hands.
People that have the credentials to do that.
The people you trust the most.
It's not about credentials. It's about people that are willing to fight what they believe for. And the Black Panthers did it, during the Civil Rights Movement. We just need to create another type of organization with that to be able to stand up for it.
Law.
There is the new Black Panther Party, but I'm not going to say I completely follow everything the new Black Panther Party believes in, but in the same sense, they're on the right track. We can't stand and let our communities be destroyed, burned, black men killed, police brutality without standing up and doing something and saying, look, I'm going to handle this myself. This is the time.
How does
Some
law
point,
play a
someone's gotta
factor
go.
into that, though?
Well-
like, I mean, it's still, we're not going to discount all law or all procedure because we want to fight. I love it, but then what? How do you handle it without?
It doesn't
see what I
matter to
mean?
me.
Like, how-
once the system is crumbled, you fight. And that I don't even, like I said it a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was taken. Like right now, there's a Vice News. There's a group of black people starting to take up arms. Hey, there's a Second Amendment. White people have been doing it forever. Look what happened on Bundy Ranch.
I agree.
The government, and it's time.
Yeah, Bundy
Hey, when pacifism doesn't work, and you try, black people have protested. They have done everything correctly. There's one last and go.
Protesting, rioting is not working. We need to take it in our own hands. Take up arms. Stand in your streets. Watch the people that you think, that might be the ones having these issues that are creating the problems in your community. You have to start taking a stance for it. We have to start taking a stance for ourselves. If we do not, these issues will continue to happen over and over again. And from there, we're going to get mad. We're going to forget about it. We're going to get mad
I don't
again.
think we forget, though. People keep saying that. It's not that we forget. It's that.
You lose focus on it.
It's
Maybe
because
not
you
forget.
don't-
You
to
don't
be
always
better
have the
people.
power, though. You don't always have the power. Like, we're sitting here right now. We have never forgotten. We always bring things up and up. We don't necessarily have the power to tackle all ourselves, though, right? Or
I'll
is that
take
just-
I'll
I
take
don't
it a
know.
step further. There's already group organizations that are armed that we looked at. The gangs have come together already in Baltimore. They are coming together, and why not? They can protect the streets.
I mean, I get it, but
Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, let me just touch on the gangs. I think that's a good point. They've come together, but at the end of the day, their background isn't justifiable.
Isn't right.
we can't have
I know,
them.
Social justice.
But we're talking about. I know. I mean, I'm taking it to an extreme, maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe it is. But they've stopped committing violence in their communities due to the police brutality, due to that stuff. And I think you have an opportunity. I don't know. At this point, I would take law in my own hands if I was black.
I would definitely take it, but I also think there needs to be those leaders. There needs to be those Huey P. Newtons. There needs to be those Malcolm Shabazz that are talking to these people and like, look, yes, we've tried the legislative, branch. We've tried judicial. The police don't care about us. Start handling it yourself. When you see something going wrong in your community, we shouldn't be calling the
Complacent,
police.
yeah.
No, we shouldn't call the police. What are they going to do? Kill another person that's, of color? Like, this is ridiculous.
That's what
I
we've been
can't take
trained
it.
to do. It's hard to disconnect
That's the problem.
from that.
We've been trained.
I know. I
we have
agree.
been trained,
I agree.
and what we are doing is assimilating to the faction of our nation that is not helping us.
How many
And I don't
police-
think just black people have been trained. I'm saying people have been trained. That's what we all know. That's what we all gravitate towards, even though we've seen the negative parts of that. I don't know.
Why would you call the police though when so many departments have known racists in
No,
their
I agree.
organizations?
I
They weren't
agree.
screened for that.
I agree.
Why? Why would you count on them at this point? They've done
can't
nothing
now,
but shoot
yeah.
up your community, and then when things go bad, they come in later and fill out police reports, and nothing gets
and
done.
I
agree.
think even taking a step away from the militant sense, I think Obama said it best is like we have to about racism. Like
Yeah.
when it
Yeah,
comes
I
up,
think they're-
when
yeah.
it comes up, we don't need to be like, well, it's here, it might be here. No, we need to be like, this is going
It's
on right
blatant,
now.
yes.
Like call people out, tell them what it is. Like we need to start talking about it in real terms. Like this is a real issue. It's still happening. Jim Crow laws are still in effect in a sense. Like this is going on. People are. All I'm saying is people are not going to better this nation by doing what we have been doing.
Right.
It's not working. We've tried that. Like it's not working.
But what you're talking about also goes back to the media. If we're gonna circle back around,
that's
and
what
the
I
media
think,
won't.
too.
Media is so, and I've read a couple articles. Ross Story and Mother Jones both had great ones. I wish I could bring them up right now, but they were talking about how white people don't want to be called racist. It's like the word that's like our N word to a lot of white people. Not me,
Right.
not me. I see it, so I won't defend it. But that's the thing is they don't want to. They're so quick to not use anything racist. Let's find out.
With any
This
type of
could be a
racial-
troubled youth. That's what. No, he was influenced directly from a racist organization who's raised $4 million for his defense since.
Right.
What? How is that not racism? How can you not look around and see it? And then, so that's part of the problem. The media doesn't want to use racism when obviously there's a lot of racism.
And I agree. I think that's more to the point is they don't want to upset those financial backers, the people that are actually helping them in the situations, like helping those channels progress, because they know if they say this is racist, we're taking a stance on this, bam, that's $1 million gone. Like they're losing money doing that. So they're doing, and it's messed up. But at the same time, it takes like channels like this and other ones that don't have those big backers to say,
or that are,
this world is messed up.
Right. And it's not even just about backers. I think there's something about being firm and confident in what we do and what we believe in that I would hope, regardless of backing or not, we would still be firm to that. You know who you're backing. With some of these bigger companies, they thought they knew what they were getting, and that's why they have to stay in a certain lane.
Yeah, but we don't have any news that we support in this country. That Al Jazeera, again, that's where I get most of my news. Raw story, I can get BBC, The Guardian. Notice I haven't named a single American company. I don't get my news from I guess Raw Story is based in America, but they do a little bit more alternative news, things like that. Alternet's okay. And every single, the Young Turks does a great job. They're all online organizations for the most part, or overseas, where they actually care about news and they want to know what's going on. Here it's all about corporate profits. How are you supposed to call out racism when every single executive of every single ad that's running on your station is run by a white male for the most part? 80% of all the broadcasters
that's
in executive positions.
That's a huge point.
You're gonna call out white people racist when freaking Johnson & Johnson wants to give you $100,000? No, because your bottom line is profits instead of what is news.
Yeah. Amazing topic. Sorry, we have to move on because I really want to talk about this. Affirmative action. Yes, we just have a few more minutes, but I had to get this out. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, Anthony, but it was actually University of Texas that's reopening.
University of Texas and I think Michigan.
Yeah. So that irritated me because I'm from Texas and I get really pissed when we do Texas stories.
Are you surprised when Texas?
I know.
Seriously?
I just get really mad. I thought you loved Texas. What are you doing?
I love Texas, but you can't admit. Like you have to.
I didn't say I'm not. I didn't say. I just annoys me. I'm like, why? But anyway, so Abigail Fisher, a girl who did not get accepted to UT because she, I assume, is associating with the fact that she's white. But she talked about top 10% in Texas. If you're in the top 10%, you're automatically admitted into UT. And then in with that is also like racial stuff, and they go through other profiling before they admit you in. But she did not get in, and she's talking about the fact that it's because she was white, talking about reverse racism, and now bringing up the fact that she...
Is that even a real thing?
How long of a head start do you need as a white person until you're okay with it?
Like, can you really cry reverse racism?
That's very interesting. That's funny.
That's so...
We have, 200-year head start, right?
That's hilarious. It's interesting because you can talk, like, if we talk a university standpoint, and Howard's a huge, I can't think of the phrase for it.
HBCU?
Thank you. Historically black college. Versus, like, a UT,
As a PWI.
Yes.
Predominantly white institution.
Yes. So it's interesting because when a white student is applying to Howard, they still get money. Most likely they get money is what I'm hearing. And then, when you reverse it, it's just interesting how people are starting to see this, like basically saying that we don't need affirmative action because race isn't a factor, blah, blah.
See, I think that's the thing. Like, you can't end racial discrimination by pretending that there is no racial divide.
Right.
You can't say that, everything's gone, we're going to be okay.
If we take it away.
Especially now. Especially with everything that's going on at this moment, you can't do it. I was doing some research and I looked at the Proposition 209 from California because they banned all affirmative action for employment, contracting, and schools. So, I looked at it. There was a real decrease in black enrollment. I think it was something like 14% decrease 15 years later. They did it 15 years later. There was 14% decrease in black enrollment. There was a 6% decrease in Latino enrollment. And then the questions come up with the decreased enrollment, like, okay, so we're going to cut those fundings for those scholarships and grants that were used for those minority scholarships. Then it comes into question of, do we need funding for the programs and the cultural centers that are here too? Because that's kind of falls into the same thing.
That comes under Republican. Don't get me started on them, idiots. Anyway, I hear what you're saying. Now, there is an actual argument against affirmative action the way we do it based off race lines. Because actually, like Brown University, I think we talked about this over a year ago, they got rid of what they do is blind admissions, which is a start where you literally, you take the names out, you take any organizations they're affiliated with.
And it's just profiling.
And you just if you were affiliated with a African-American organization for Honor Society, they go Honor Society. So that way they were looking and they don't know what the name is, and that's how they do admissions. Well, when they did that, they actually found a huge enrollment upswing of Asian people and less in Black and Latino, because here's where they think they need to change it is economic affirmative action, which would directly impact the Black and Latino communities at the same time.
I completely agree.
I can get with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that works, and in that sense, the problem is that they're not doing that either, and it's just becoming a point. Like, affirmative action wasn't set in place to give a chip on the Black person's shoulder.
It's not a Black person thing. Like, that's what irritates me about it.
It's not just a Black person thing.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, in a sense, it is a foot in the door, but a foot in the door that they might not have. Like, the universities aren't going to change their competitiveness in their programs
because the Black people are going to school.
They're not going to lower their expectations once they get in school. They just need to get there so they can show that they can compete with everybody else, and that's the problem. They're not letting them do that, and by taking away affirmative action in this time, you're allowing this subconscious racial tension, or I guess discrimination, to happen. I mean, you got to think.
And you're shutting the door.
The board of curators, the board of regents, and all these big schools, University of Missouri,
you're right.
UC system, they're all white. I know firsthand University of Missouri because that's where I came from, and we actually had an issue with affirmative action there. All the board are older white men, and when I went in and talked to them, because War Connerly, who was part of the UC regent, came and tried to ban affirmative action there, they were all for it. They were thinking, like, this is a great idea. We're going to try to get going with this. But the problem is they just don't see it. You can't understand it unless you've lived it or have someone that lived through it. Like, all of those rich white people.
Or you're sensitive to it, do you think?
Or sensitive, but at the same time, like, all their kids are going to school. All their friends, all their kids' friends are going to school, no problems, because of the socioeconomic status that they have. And again, if they were to do it with socioeconomic status, that would work, but they're not even doing it that way. Like, they have to keep it. You have to keep affirmative action right now.
But I think it's important because they're saying that by doing that, they can reform it that way out of the race thing. And by the way, but that's the thing, by doing it by socioeconomic, it actually would increase opportunities for Hispanic and Blacks, because now more of them under that banner would qualify than white people.
Would have some more, right.
But yeah, and I understand that, and I think it's...
Last point, Anthony.
I just think affirmative action needs to really stick around for a little bit longer. It's not working.
I'm not completely against that, by the way.
It's not working how it should be working now. And even the ban, or even the thing with Michigan, they're saying you can do affirmative action, but you don't have to. It's kind of telling them no. I mean, I'm sure in 10 years, if we ban affirmative action, we are going to see the repercussions of what it has to do as far as the Black and Latino community.
That's interesting. I love that. Well, you guys, your assignment for this weekend is to make sure you look up affirmative action, because I want to revisit this topic next week. I don't think we're done with that just yet. You guys be safe. Where can everybody keep in touch with you throughout the weekend until next week?
At Michael Timon, and Tuesday the 7th, I'll be at Flappers Comedy Club.
Awesome. Anthony?
You can always check me out on my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, all that. You might catch me in my front yard burning some type of flag. There we go.
Good.
I'm going to try to... You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. I might be right next to him.
Can I bring marshmallows?
And I'll be wearing all black, even though it's hot as heck.
Make some s'mores.
Right. Oh, my God. And eat while we're doing this. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.